you're new to the channel, this is a 69 Dodge D200 crew cab. This thing started as just a plain Jane truck with a 383 big block that would not run, and decided to buy first gen Cummins, 1991 to be exact. Cut that thing up, made it into a go-kart, stretched the frame 31 inches or something like that. It might have been 29. Don't remember, it's been a while ago. But anyways, this thing's getting the 5.9 12 valve Cummins. In this video, we got to get it to be able to stop, so brakes, be able to steer, and wiring. And then it should be able to drive out of the garage. Let's get to it.
Welcome back to the YouTube channel.
So screwing this dash back up where it's supposed to be, gonna start on the steering. So right here, Dad's gonna probably cut that out a little bit to raise the steering column up. Factory steering column, it mounted where these bolts are here. Here's the good quality steering column. Like I said, this is from a D150 picked up from a scrapyard, but she's got a tilt on her. Got an issue with the brake lines, steering column there. We were worried at first that it was going to be in the way of the shock mount here, but it should work out, looks like. First, gonna mount this steering column to the firewall, right in these holes right here, and then we'll bolt it into the dash. Yeah, with your thunder thighs. Currently can't move the wheel or put it in gear, so got to change this ignition. I'm going to take the one off the first gen that we have a key for already and put that in there, and that'll allow us to move this around. The ignition in there. Now we can turn it on. Gonna straighten out the wheel. The wheel's right. Gonna put the steering shaft on. Attaching the linkage to the tranny. Now she is in park. See if she runs through the gears without any rubbage. First, second, third if it's got it, or is that just dry?
That's third, that's dry.
Reverse.
Neutral.
Neutral. Forgot the lineup. Reverse. Park. All right, let's see if she'll steer. Oh, moving? Sounds like it. I think we're good. Since all this is working together, transmission's going into gear. Gonna have to make a plate right here to attach, because this just hanging on the firewall, it moves it. So gotta make that nice and stiff, and then gotta patch this huge gaping hole that you can see right here in the firewall, and close that all in.
We're gonna put this on there all the way till it comes flush back here. There's a hole in there, you can't see it up in there. Want to slide that on there. We've got to make a flat spot right here and jam this down on there with some Loctite and tighten this nut. Then we're gonna, I think I'm gonna weld this to this shaft, because I don't want that thing coming off when I'm on the highway.
And after you get that right, you can see this on both sides is what's holding the steering column in. Ain't gonna fly, folks. I mean, that's not good. So you're gonna have to build a brace or bracket, whatever you want to call it, to hold this steering column up. Checking to make sure the steering wheel is square. That means thinking that the dash is square, which it might not be. So might be just measuring here. On the left side it's 13.5. The right side is, moment of truth, 28 inches.
13.5.
13.5. All right, she's squared. Can move on to do some other things. Getting the measurements to start making this plate to patch the firewall here. For that piece of metal, it needs to have about the same holes as this one. So I'm making a template here to figure out where the holes are, and then we'll cut them out of that piece of sheet metal. Got that drawn out.
4 circles.
Huh? I drew extra circles to make Dad confused, not know what's going on. Also drawing these ones out. There's 3 of them there. This one's behind the steering column. You're gonna have to make that part of the firewall as well. It won't be on that piece of metal, but it has to be somewhere. That plate's sitting pretty tight in there. It's a little loose right there, but we'll get that fixed. I'm gonna set up that template, get the holes out that need to be there. Not for sure how Dad ever managed without a plasma cutter. Yes, it'll need to be cleaned up, but that was quick and easy. Alrighty, gonna go ahead and burn that piece of metal in now. Gonna be something like that. Turned out pretty good, got all the holes we need. Before the steering column's gonna go in, gonna get all this wiring situated because this all has to go somewhere. So you're gonna have to make the holes, plan on where those are gonna be, and then get them all inside, the ones that need to be there, along with the ones that are on the outside here. I'm a good supervisor, make sure he's doing it all right. He's learning. It's his first time working on these old cars and just needs some teaching. Ain't that right? There's going to be boring stuff that you guys probably don't want to see, and it's really tedious. So we're going to time lapse through this thing, and we'll show you the locations of everything after we're done. I've been out here working hard while Dad's been inside taking a nap. Yep, about got it done though. Everything's working out. Seems like it's going all right. Looks like he made a hole for the plug-in right there. Got all the wires ran inside the cab. This is looking much more cleaner. Take a look inside here real quick. Looks like we're gonna be able to use this factory headlight switch here because the first gen Cummins is the same style right there. So that should hook up the same way. So that'll be neat. Right here where the steering column mounts, because how thin that dash is, it's not gonna be strong enough. I'm gonna beef it up here.
Not gonna be pretty, but I have to do it.
Steering column is in, got it nice and strong there. The steering's hooked up now as well, going down to the gearbox. Now I need to get an oil pressure gauge hooked up, bypass these heater hoses that are right here, and gonna go ahead and probably tie the rad hoses together and dump some fluid in there, because we're not gonna be running a radiator quite yet. That'll be built in the next video. Whole custom support, got a brand new radiator over there. It's gonna look super good. Oil pressure gauge just needs to go in the center of the cluster because you don't care about anything but oil pressure. No temp, speed, that stuff just don't matter. Look at that. That's a good look right there. The ignition up on the steering column. All the main wiring is hooked up for the most part. Now I just got to hook up the ground so this stuff will actually work. Right here seems like an appropriate place for your ground. Not really, but it'll work for the time being. At the end of this build, this thermostat housing, it's going to be one off of an intercooled first gen, so after 91 and a half, and it's going to come out, turn this way, and go into the radiator over here versus how it went right here before. You're going to be running electronic fans and get this all out of the way. Got a piece of pipe to put in there for now. Just unhook the fuel line from the fuel pump now. So we're gonna try and suck gas up to here. I called it gas, fuel, diesel. Dad's gonna stick this air nozzle with the chuck inside the tank. Gonna push air up the line to prime it. And when he's doing that, it's gonna get in this bucket, then we'll attach it to the fuel pump. So we're squirting air in it, weren't getting anything, so we think the return here, which is this one, and the sending is mixed around, so we need to flip these hoses and see if that fixes the issue here. Think the fuel line's prime? Why don't we try and crank this thing over and see if it starts? Power steering work? Move. It's rubbing on the battery. That's as far as it turns. Your battery's all up in it, but that shouldn't be affecting it. Went ahead and threw some new shocks on both sides and in the rear. Now working on the throttle cable. Got to cut out this section here, and Dad cut this off the first gen Firewall for where the throttle cable goes through, and setting the gas pedal up. You can kind of see the outline of where it needs to be cut out, and we'll weld that in straight from the first gen. You shoot a deer this morning?
6.
6? You shot 6 deer?
205 inches.
205 inches.
Scored 205. That's what they said.
Huh. It's pretty good. Look,
was
out
a
of
doe.
all 6?
It was a doe.
It was a doe. Well, as you can see, we're back that time of the year where it's getting cold and we got to get firewood because, you know, no heat in the shop. So, got to do this. It works out. It's kind of nice being in the shop in the winter though because you're not sweating your nutsack off. All right. Oh, let's get back working out. Ooh. Ooh. Knocked over my stack. You like them strokes? See if we can do it one-handed. Oh! Dad sneezed and did this. Greasing the U-joints so we can pull it out of the garage and see if this thing will run, stop, and brake. Getting the battery tray put in here. This is not permanent. This is just so we can pull it outside and drive this thing. have hopped out and looked at it. Your tank's leaking all over the place. Well, it looks really cool, but we got a little bit of puddle coming from the tank. Had a little fuel leak, looks like. Got the original fan off here because, like I said before, new radiator with these electronic fans. The reason for doing this is because there's not much room in these firewalls. And the first gen Cummins firewall to the core support was actually like 3 inches larger. So we didn't want to cut the firewall out and move the motor back into that because it creates a weird thing with the cowl here. And that's what everyone else has done. Dad's going to start building a custom core support for this thing, which is going to be super cool for the next video. Anyways, here's a little sneak peek of what she's going to look like. These wheels and tires are giant and fill that wheel well up. Probably gonna have rubbing issues, but this thing is a monster truck and it's gonna look super cool, I think. 20-foot long truck. It is giant to even try and get it all in the camera. For everyone that made it this far in this video, I appreciate you. Let me know down in the comments below. Do you guys prefer like a 15-minute video, or do you want 30-minute videos, or shorter, longer? You let me know and I'll adapt and do what you guys want. I never know. I always make like a 15-minute video. I'm like, yep, that's what I want to produce. With that being said, until next time where we really get this thing looking like a truck, thank you guys for the support. Good night.